So those nasty rumours, Tim.
As you leant over to hit record.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's right. What we do, we like to trap people. We don't tell them they're on. Oh, the stuff we get out of them. Salacious.
Yeah.
At least.
Especially recording these at home. It's lulls me into a false sense of security.
It does.
You give me a coffee and a hat.
Have you seen
I'll tell you
that?
anything you want to know.
Have you seen that scene in Pulp Fiction when, Marcellus Wallace and Butch gets locked in the room with Zed and Maynard? Yep, well, go and get the Gimp, boys. Let's go.
Gimp's in the corner.
You know Cathy Griffin's in that movie?
Yeah, yes.
In the Bruce Willis car accident scene?
That's right.
Yeah.
Was she the one that gets shot in the leg? Or?
I think she's just an innocent bystander that runs around screaming with her red mop.
Is that her first role?
I don't know. That's all my Cathy Griffin knowledge done. This is a movie podcast, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so scene 3, about 10 minutes in.
We had her on the show once. Oh, my God. That's the ultimate.
Did you actually?
Yeah, came on.
Yeah.
She came on. We asked her a question. She basically abused us and paid you.
Cathy Griffin? Because she's Aussie, right?
No.
She's not Aussie?
No, she's
She's
American.
the one that had the Trump's head. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like, you get over this way much?
I don't actually. Military road's a bitch.
Sure is.
Yeah, the lanes are so tiny. Everyone's got huge cars and tiny little lanes. But it's a beautiful spot you got.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
Wish you could see the ocean.
Yeah, we want to get closer to the ocean, actually. I think about buying a houseboat.
Jack's just holding up a picture. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, that's an old photo. Yeah. Let's see if you can... Yeah, there we go.
Oh, holy fuck.
Oh, my God. It looks like...
But no, she's not Australian, to answer your question.
Who's the comedian? Carrot Top.
Oh, yeah, Carrot Top. Yeah, the prop comic.
Yeah.
I've heard some bad things about Carrot Top.
He was performing in Vegas when we were over there for the NRL.
They reckon horrendous.
What,
They reckon he's just given up.
Oh.
Not as horrendous as David Copperfield. So I interviewed David Copperfield over there, right? And he may or may not be allegedly, whatever you want to say on this, maybe on the Epstein list.
Yeah.
And I reckon I know why. Because when we interviewed him at the MGM Grand, and it was just like he basically has a private jet, MGM Grand, and then he's got his own theatre. I think he's one of the highest ticket sellers of anything, music, any magic, of all time. And he had a lock on the top of his bathroom door, but on the outside.
Oh.
Like a full lock. Like he wasn't hiding and there was a lock. Yeah.
And you saw it. Did you ask him about it? You're like, what's the deal?
I couldn't. No. I only just got out there.
Oh, that is fucking
scary. How
scary.
competitive would the magician market really be? Right?
There's David Copperfield, Carrot Top. No, he's a prop comic.
Carrot Top's a comic. There's that dude, Chris Angel Mind Freak.
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
The magic's like song parodies. Once you hear like the first 30 seconds or see the first 30 seconds, you're like, I'm done now. I don't need a full hour of this.
Oh, no.
No
mate, friend people we know went and saw Carrot Top when we were over there. They said it was just it was horrendous. He just basically got up on stage. He had a list that he was reading. They're doing jokes and that off like a sheet he was looking at. The crowd were booing. Didn't go good for Carrot Top.
What do you actually think of Vegas in all seriousness? Because it's meant to be, obviously, the loose town.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I think it's all talk.
Really? That's a hot take.
Hot take on Vegas.
The only reason
you think you'd get that, did you?
No way. Wow.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Wow.
There you go, Jack. Clip that.
Thanks to Vegas.com.
We're actually sponsored by him. Yeah. I think it's I think it's too much, but it's Disneyland for adults, right? It's built like that. Every time I go in, when that warm, dry air hits your skin, you start flaking up. But when you start flaking out like a bearded dragon, oh, yuck.
A couple of years ago, Tim, we went over there for the show. Well, it wasn't actually for the show. I just kept saying on the show, they should send us over for an orientation. Anyway, someone went, okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
We had 10 days there. Right?
Yeah, okay.
I got home. I jumped out of the car here when I arrived back. I'd lost something like 9 kilos. Trish goes, what have you been doing? I said, I think I ate something on the way back on the plane.
Talk about looking like Pennywise. He was that white in the face. He was like ashy, like an ashtray. And every time he'd smile, because his lip, he wouldn't put chapstick on over there. So every time he smiled, his lips would crack and blood would start falling out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was rank.
I remember when we did our radio show over there years and years ago, and one of the first nights was the Mariah Carey show, and I wasn't allowed to go because for some reason I kept spewing into my schooner gloves. But I feel like after I heard the review of that show, I'm the one that won out there.
You won it.
Yeah.
Hey, how's Joel and Ricky Lee going?
Mate, really good. Yeah, I've come to you on ratings day. Obviously, you're a big radio guy now.
Yeah, to be fair, like I'm in radio, but I actually don't know I don't even know how the ratings work.
Well, us radio people love all that.
Yeah. So, do you actually know how the whole like ratings and stuff work?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's changed a lot now. Like we take a lot more of like I think the streaming involved now and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it is a bit of an archaic system.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it is still diaries. Yeah, you're meant to put on the top of your fridge, and then
bizarre.
On like the second Sunday or whatever, you're meant to fill it out.
It's so bizarre. And the person, when you knock on the door, the only person who can take the book is the person who answers the door.
Yeah.
And I mean, then they ask, would you like to take the logbook and mark it? I mean, who does that? Certainly no one under 50.
No. And also, apparently, the house the books go to has to be a fixed home address. It can't be an apartment. So...
That rules out a lot.
That rules out a lot of young folk listening to the FM.
Oh. Yeah. So that's
why too. I mean, that's but that's why GB has been a powerhouse for so long.
Yeah, because they wake their radio on in the corner.
So that's why you hear the
pass
ads.
away.
It's basically funeral homes and erectile dysfunction and panic whistles.
Are you pooing properly?
So with that,
what does your stool look like?
With that rating system, then. Could it very much be, like when you say 2GB, the older demographic always would tick that box?
Yeah.
Could it very much be that they don't own that, like they don't have that much
ratings.
They don't have the ratings that people think they are?
100%. Yeah. Also because I think with FM radio, which we're a part of, obviously, and you used to be.
Yeah. I'm an old veteran, you know.
You're a veteran of the FM dial.
The old Doug Mulray of Collaroy. There he goes.
They're moving around a lot, they're flicking around, so it is harder to get a more accurate depiction. But, when we do it all right, we just leave it alone. We don't want to rustle through the weeds too much when we're doing okay.
Yeah, I know.
Everything's fine from where we're sitting.
Jamie Adams used to walk in whenever we had a ratings lift. He'd go, fantastic. This is what we deserved. We knew it was going to be big. And then when we invariably, the next book we would go down, he'd just go, mate, so flawed.
I know.
It just doesn't work.
I haven't heard that name for a while.
Jamie Angel.
I used to when I moved to Melbourne from Sydney when I got my first gig, I actually recorded he used to do Drive on Today FM. I used to just record his talk breaks and just listen to like basically 9 hours of talk breaks on my cassette in my little Toyota Starlet on the way down to Melbourne.
Was he good?
He was great.
Was he good? Yeah. I didn't know JA actually.
Yeah, he was on air.
Because he was your boss at Triple M.
Yeah, that's right. And we used to impersonate him on air. Jamie Angel.
Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he loved Train. I always remember him loving the band Train.
Hey Soul Sister.
Yeah. Drops of Jupiter. I've never actually heard Train be the answer to who's your favourite band ever once in my life.
I know.
Well, I mean, really, who would ask Jamie Angel what his favourite band was anyway?
Well, Tim, we do have a surprise guest for you.
It's Train.
It's Train and Jamie Angel.
I think the lead singer of Train's dead. I think he died a couple of years
ago.
Okay, that's a shame.
He's actually, Adam Levine from Maroon 5, right? If you ever watch Howard Stern's birthday shows, Prince died like the day before, and Adam Levine from Maroon 5, which is a shocking band, got up and did Purple Rain, and it's unbelievable. But they had the guy from Train there booked as a guest too, and he came up and did a verse and completely fucked it. But look that up on YouTube after you listen to this.
Fucking hell, Maroon 5. Oh dear Lord.
So you guys, your drive show we're talking number one. We have been number one for a long time. We were talking upstairs before. It's
number one.
The ratings.
It's just number one.
It's number one.
Yeah,
number one in people's hearts.
Yeah. Because that's, with the surveys, they often say that it stems from breakfast, right? But you guys seem like a bit of an anomaly because obviously Kyle and Jackie O are number one. And then...
Well, in Sydney.
Sorry. But then you guys...
That clear for the Books of Law.
Books of Law. But then you guys to be number one drive. Like, is that does that happen very often?
I think nicely for us lately, the last few incarnations of the show, actually, I feel like we've been a destination show. You can really see that, which is nice. Perth is a juggernaut. Like, Perth just is like rating 20% in breakfast and then just carries through the day. So that generally does work. Yeah. And that's why Kiss does so well in Sydney too, because you guys in the morning just keep people glued.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Anytime.
So Tim, like I was just having a look at, like you're a Hobart boy, huh?
Born in Hobart. I just got back last week actually to see the old man. Yeah. My mum got me out of there when I was in year 5.
Yeah,
I moved to Sydney.
Thank God.
Yes.
Did you move to Washington DC?
Yeah.
Were you there? Yeah.
Yeah. I went to the Bill Clinton impeachment trial as an excursion for school.
Oh, really?
Guilty, it turns out.
My God.
He did have sex with that woman.
What's semen?
You don't wear a black dress to a party, do you?
Does that make you an AFL man if you're from Hobart?
100%. Yeah.
So
Hawthorn.
Are you Hawthorn?
Yes.
Oh, no way. Did you live down there at all?
Yeah. I was born there and lived down there until year 5 and then went back down. I left America in year 10 and did year 10, 11 and 12 down there with my dad.
And is anybody...
Not homeschooled, by the way, out of school, but...
Have you got a rugby league side then? Because we're obviously rugby league.
I know. So this is the thing. I knew this coming in. Because when we moved to Sydney, we lived in a little flat in Rushcutters Bay. And I just figured I should be a Sydney Roosters supporter, which I kind of like, when I kind of say it reluctantly, I go, I'm going to go for the Roosters. Yeah. Anyway, go Hawks.
That's very AFL of you.
Yes, it is.
Pick the richest club. Yes. Very AFL.
That's very elitist.
Yeah.
So a question, going from how old were you when you went to Washington?
13 to 17.
How big was the culture shock going from Hobart to Washington?
Well, we went Hobart, Sydney, Washington, but still huge. But the great thing was, I was a 13-year-old kid loving Seinfeld and Friends and stuff like that. To move to America, it was like literally, it was the best thing ever.
Yeah, was it real like that sort of school, schoolyard scene that you see on TV shows and movies? Is it all the same? Like there's just blokes named Chad who are like the quarterback,
or Chet,
Chad, the cheerleaders.
I was
at
Springton Lake Middle School for a while, and we go Go Spartans. And the thing that shocked me the most was the lockers, like the school lockers, literally were ones that you could get stuffed into, like in Saved by the Bell.
Oh wow!
Yeah. But yeah, living in DC was crazy because we lived like on the Potomac River, so we lived technically in Virginia, but on the other side of the Potomac River was DC, and like we were convinced that like the seasons and stuff over there were controlled by the Pentagon because literally on the day one of winter, like a snowflake would fall on your nose, just like you're in a Julia Roberts movie,
Yeah, gotcha, exactly. Yeah, know exactly what you're talking
More
about.
movies on this podcast.
Yeah. So did you get like? Was there many like? People getting stuffed into lockers? Like, did you get stuffed into lockers?
Mate, it was really hectic. Before they realised I was Australian, some kids at the back of the yellow school bus would peg batteries at my head.
Oh, really?
And then I'd go, hey, g'day, guys. Put another shrimp on the barbie. And they're like, oh, get up here with us. But the school bus driver, I remember one day goes, my God, man, your English is so good. You've been here for like 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah.
Are they that naive to it?
Oh, back then they were too. Like Silverchair were really big then. When I lived there, and really Steve Irwin, and then that was it. So you could pretty much tell them anything, and they'd go, "Oh, really? Yeah."
Did they love you? Like once they found out you're Aussie,
I was
how much
so popular?
Were you like the most popular kid?
And then coming back home to reality was like, oh.
And you were the only Australian there?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was great.
Isn't it funny if you, as an Australian going over there, you're treated so well, but if you came back here with an American accent, they'd fucking hate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I had to change my I never had an accent, but you have to change your vocabulary over there. Like you say footpath, and I'm like, huh? And you have to say bathroom instead of toilet. So, little things like that.
Can't say servo. Servo.
Your first job in radio, Tim?
Well, it was, the first unpaid job was to an SB Chatswood in a little room kind of like this, just doing weekends, and I had to do the weather. I did the weather, so we took Macquarie National News, and then I remember the first day I had to do the weather, my finger was shaking as I pulled the fader down and went, the precipitation to the north is... So, but that was my first paid job. Then I did work experience with Amanda and Denton at Triple M, and then Jonesy, I just used to take myself in my school uniform. So Jonesy, who's Jonesy and Amanda now, was doing afternoons on Triple M. All I wanted to do was work at Triple M. That's all I wanted since I was a kid. And Doug Mulray, listened to Doug Mulray, then into Denton and Keller. And so Jonesy, I remember teaching me how to edit phone calls on reel to reel, where you'd have an actual like scalpel out and you'd put some chalk on it and you'd work out where to edit the callers, and then you go, roop, roop, roop.
Wow.
So, but the first job was out of AFTRS, radio school, Australian Film, Television and Radio School. And that was with DMG's new license. So we bought Sydney, which was Nova, and then they were putting a new station into Melbourne. And everyone was like, is it going to be another Nova? What's it going to be? And because I was so young and I was their first hire, they didn't want me to know. So I had to sign some kind of legal agreement to say I wouldn't spout my mouth off about where I was going. And then that's when I packed my little Toyota, started up and drove down to Melbourne and started on mid-dawns at Nova Melbourne when it launched.
Midnight at dawn. Yep.
Although, because I had 3 months before that job started, they put me at the hub. So Star FM was not owned by DMG too, and I was in the Albury hub. And we had to network to like 9 stations, and I had like 7 breaks an hour, and 5 of those 7 breaks were local breaks. So you'd have to do 5 times 9 local breaks per hour as well as your other 2.
Yeah.
It was the hardest I've ever worked still to this day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So midnight to dawn. So what was that? Just music or you had
Midnight till
callers?
6. I befriended like the guy, the local servo at the BP in Richmond, and used to get him on every day and talk like Nova was loose. Like it was really like we'd never heard anything like it before. Obviously, we had Today FM and Triple M and Fox in Melbourne and all the other hit network stations now. But Nova was like 2 ads in a row, which you could never go to the toilet at mid-dawns. You couldn't automate it, so you were literally hitting off everything as you were going.
Yeah.
But it was midnight till 6 a.m. And then Hughesy and Kate with the Brekky show, which is why they're still friends of mine today. Like they used to come in at 5 and would muck around. It was the best.
Yeah, right.
I tell you what, the first shift I was really pumped because it was midnight and I was like, yes. And as the sun started rising over the city, I started shitting myself because I was like, I'm actually on air in Melbourne. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Pretty crazy.
And you're like not drunk. Like
I'm actually not drunk at 5 a.m.
Was there any like, I'm sure you can say it now because it was a long time ago, doing midnight to 6 a.m. and I imagine it'd be hard not to have like a beer or something, right?
This is going to surprise you, but at the start of my career, I was very nerdy, very professional.
Yeah, right.
I was head down, bum up. Like, I was working 6 days a week and just living for it. So,
really?
Yeah, it was unreal. It surprises you now,
That
I can
sucks.
see. Yeah, I know.
Did they move you around the country much?
Yeah, so then I moved to Sydney and then I moved to Perth. Sorry, we moved to Perth, then to Sydney. Then Sydney back to Melbourne, Melbourne up to Brisbane, and then Brisbane back to Melbourne to do drive, then Melbourne back to Sydney.
Wow.
So everywhere but Adelaide.
And how old are you then? Like,
From
what age
21,
range?
From 21, and then I probably moved around every 18 months.
So not a lot of regionals.
No regionals, just bougie cap cities for me.
Yeah, right.
Except for Albury at the Star, obviously.
Yes.
The Globe. Shout out to the Globe. Good pub.
Right on the border as well.
So how different? Because oftentimes, like I'll hear in breakfast sometimes they will get some Melbourne teams that'll come in and there seems to me like each capital city, you got to sort of change, is it right to say change content, humour, slightly different?
Yeah, Melbourne especially. Melbourne and Sydney are 2 different countries when it comes to that.
It's so true.
Yeah, and I love that. I actually do love that about Melbourne. Melbourne really is like you could just mention AFL in the line at the airport and everyone's on board. You've got it's just like it's a big city, but a country town attitude. Like even I remember going like you used to go to the Melbourne Cup and the whole city would stop for the Melbourne Cup, and then the Formula One even before all this Drive to Survive stuff, the whole city would be obsessed with F1. Like it was actually it was very cool to live there, but very very different cities.
You were there 5 years?
5 years.
Yeah,
5. Yeah. And
where did you live in Melbourne?
Richmond.
Oh yeah, nice.
Wheelers Hill, which is like quite far out.
Yeah.
East Ivanhoe, and then Richmond. We lived like a 90. Well, in my first year at Storm, me and one of the boys who was there first year as well, we got billeted with like a 90-year-old couple.
Right.
Yeah.
Why did they do that?
I don't know. We were only like 18 to 17. So like, I think they thought, to make you feel comfortable at the start. And
we're going to put you with a 90-year-old.
Yeah, like it's a weird fit. I know. It actually was good because then we sort of learned the city, and then like after a couple of months, we're like, all right, we'll go sort of do our own thing. Because at that age as well, right?
Yeah.
Let's paint a picture. 2 18-year-old rugby league players in a new city, finally moved out of home, on decent money as young NRL players. We want to go out on the beers like basically every 3 nights. Yeah, and we're single as well, so. If you tell a girl when you're out, hey, do you want to come back to like a billet's place who's 2 90-year-olds? It's not exactly a nice environment for a girl to wake up in the morning. Like it's not very warming.
No, as the lady's taking the teeth out of the glass.
Yeah.
But did the city get behind the Storm? Because I remember when the Storm started, it felt because I think I was living there. I was on air with Hughesy and Kate then pretty much, and it felt like the whole city got behind you. Did it feel like that when you were playing?
Yeah. Like although they probably didn't know us individually as players, but everybody knew the Storm. Yeah, it's like the brand, the Storm. Everyone's like, "Oh, you guys are so good!" Like, so people would come to the games. Like most games were like pretty sold out, and they just love the Melbourneians. Just love like any sort of sport. They get around like
an event.
Tennis. Yeah, they just love an event. Australian Open, like anything, they just go.
The people you're living with, names again?
Kay and Graham Middleton.
Yeah. I remember Graham going there, and he took me into the room. He goes, "Have a look at this," and he handed me a pebble, and he goes, "That pebble." He said, I went to Gallipoli and I took that thing from Gallipoli on that. I went, right. He said, mate, take that home. I said, yep, okay.
Do you know what's funny? So we found out later that was his like party trick. So he had like thousands of these
Fun
rocks.
guy, then.
I mean, he's a wild man.
Why did you leave?
He had hundreds of these rocks. Okay, so like, Dad would go, "Well, look, I got this Gallipoli rock," and then like a few of the other Storm old boys like Cooper Cronk and Robbie Kearns and these guys would go, "Mate, I got one too." Like, so whenever boys would come over, go, "Hey, I got a Gallipoli rock for
That's
you."
right. He gave me after it, son.
He does that to everyone. He's hundreds of.
But it's funny. I said, is this the first couple you've had staying in? And the lady, who was so nice, she goes, "Oh, no, we've had a couple of us." I said, "Oh, how was it? How was it having the boys?" She goes, "Oh, they're lovely boys. Although the last chap who lived here, we heard this strange noise coming out of his room, and he was training to be a tattoo artist, and he actually had a dead pig in his room, and he was tattooing the dead pig."
Yeah.
And I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. There's some weird sort of weird.
Was
shit
a dead
goes
pig
on.
being dragged around with a sleeve tat on his hoof?
And he gave the pig a pebble. And,
The rest of history. Thanks for joining us.
Matthew, week 5 of using the Good Day multivitamin. How are you enjoying it?
Mate, Coops still charging along. Lost another kilo. Lost another kilo.
Another one.
As I said, mate, get up in the morning. I've given coffee the heave-ho.
Yeah.
And I get up in the morning and take that, particularly the passion fruit one. The passion fruit one is the creme de la creme.
You love passion fruit.
I love passion fruit. Passion fruit's good for hair follicles. It might help you grow your hair back.
Isn't this a sliding doors moment? I'm the only person in the house who's finally got less hair on their head than you, and you're finally throwing stones.
I've got too much hair.
Yeah, I know.
No, but mate, really, really good. Trainer's going great.
I actually have. I gave it a crack this week in the mornings for radio because I don't have a coffee until I get into radio. And I find I'm quite tired driving in. I crack one of them open. I drink it on the drive in. Boss, energetic. I find I only need one coffee now here in the morning because I usually been pumping about 3 piccolos.
And you know, Coop, I know sometimes when you take multivitamins as like tablets, I sort of go, I'm not sure. But I just find with me doing it via the drink, I don't know whether it's sort of like works better or whatnot, but I'm having the best results that I've had from taking multivitamins in the past.
Well, one of our listeners, Tony, shout out to Tones, he actually got in touch saying he's been giving it a red hot crack since you've been on it, and he finds when he comes to the weekend, he actually he feels like he's earned his beers on the weekend, which some people earn it by doing exercise, but Tony feels like he's earned it by giving it a red hot crack.
Well, it's funny you say that, Coops, right? Because what I would do, oftentimes, I would train up till Friday. But then on Friday, I'd start having a few beers and I wouldn't train the next day. There's the one thing about it. I'm actually bound to train through. So I'll have a few beers on the Friday night or the Saturday night. I'll get up the next day, have the multivitamin, and train.
We're your machine. Mate.
I am
a machine.
Is he man or machine?
I don't know.
Maybe he's both.
And head to begoodhealth.com.au if you want it. Use code Johns 10% off. Or if you're a subscriber, 20%. Back to the podcast.
So, was your first big break anchoring for Hughesy and Kate?
That was the biggest thing. Yes, I always just back to Jamie Angel. Just wanted to do that. Was this year's coming up. Just loved that idea. When I got afternoons at Nova Sydney, that was like my peak. But then when I went down to anchor Hughesy and Kate, also that was the best learning experience ever. Like Hughesy and Kate were top of their game. Hughesy, I love him to bits. Still see him all the time now. But he was a hard taskmaster. When I made a mistake, he would let me know, but in a great way. And he never wanted to do that again. And it was actually really nice for me because radio was always such an individual thing for me, but now it is a team. It's a real team thing.
Yep.
And then my mistake would let the team down. And then I reckon we got that show on fire by, we had back to AFL, we had Nathan Buckley and Shane Crawford as our sports guys.
They come on once a week.
Yeah, and as a Hawthorn supporter, in 2008, which was our greatest win against Geelong, we weren't supposed to win that grand final. And I bought a footy jersey from Rebel Sport, and Shane Crawford said, "You're not allowed to sign anything." Apparently the two teams, not sure if this is the same in the NRL, the two teams aren't allowed to sign any merch the lead up to the grand final because obviously they want to... They want to make it valuable. Yeah.
Yep.
So he said, get a jersey from Rebel Sport, and I'll whack it in the back of my car. And throughout the week, and he got the entire team, Buddy and Alistair Clarkson, the coach, and Cyril Rioli to sign it for me. And then when we won that 2008 flag,
that's sick.
That was my first ever grand final. So that was a peak time in Melbourne.
And how much did you sell that for?
About $55 and a pebble.
Did you ever have any of the NRL boys come in to the show?
I think we might have had Cooper Cronk in.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, Hughesy became Hughesy's a real obsessive guy in the best way. So he became like
AFL.
Mad Melbourne Storm fan. They're like, oh, I'll let you. So we were definitely at the start. And I remember because I was, publicly, unfortunately, a Roosters fan down there, when the first time that the Storm played the Roosters, they made a pretty big deal out of that. So, it was good. It was good.
And when you look back at, I asked someone this the other day, when you look at back that time, radio seems like it was not a bigger deal back then, but it seems like there was probably a lot more, money with sponsorship and stuff in it. Because now there's so much
podcasts.
shit. Yeah, now there's so much podcasts, even social media and that.
Yeah.
When you look back at that time, somebody who's lived through probably 3 different decades of it, was there just way more hype around radio?
There was huge hype, especially being involved in the launch of. I was the first voice on air at Nova in Perth too, and out of all the launches, we had the Red Hot Chili Peppers in as the launch of the station. So it was like they came in and they were only meant to do like 5 minutes, ended up staying for an hour and a half. They asked me, they said at one point, they said, we'd love to, Jebediah was going to be the first live band because it was Perth. And they saw the instruments, and Chad and Flea said to me, there's some instruments in there. Do you mind if we grab them and play you a song? And they played, by the way, just for me in the studio, live on the Nova Perth launch. And the boys from Jebediah got fucked off because they were supposed to be the first.
They would be filthy.
And they're like, well, Flea's tune me bass. But I'll tell you the 2 key moments, I think, in how radio's changed in terms of parties, right? So Nova Melbourne, we had a party the Nova Perth party was girls walking around topless but with Nova boys painted on their breasts as our waitresses. And then you move to Brisbane and there's short people, if you say.
Oh, yeah.
In sombreros. Yeah. And the sombreros in the middle had hummus. And then around the sombrero were chips and they just walk around.
My God.
And I'm like, they're the 2 big radio party moments that I went, the life has changed. For the better.
Yeah. They say Triple M at Bondi Junction. They said the debauchery that went on in there. And when they finally basically moved out of there and went into World Square, when they pulled apart the studios, they found basically Bolivian amounts of cocaine in the building.
Really?
It fell through the fader holes.
It was everywhere.
Yeah, Bacardi bottles.
Oh, man.
Didn't Mulray used to go to the Malay for lunch every day and have a King Prawn Luxor and about 2 litres of Bacardi and then fall asleep somewhere?
Fucking unbelievable. Yeah, they reckon he'd take him that. You think
wonder why I always wanted to work at Triple M.
Yeah, I know. If you think about how good that show was, so you got Mulray, but you got his chief writer as the boy genius, Andrew Denton, who's writing and sitting behind the scenes.
Weird Al Drower. I remember Weird Al Drower.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it was cool, mate. I'll stick to stuff I can't say.
No.
So Hughesy, you said before about Hughesy being a tough taskmaster.
In the best way, though. I wouldn't have been able to learn, and I take a lot of that with me now. You got to be tough but fair still in this business.
So how was the dynamic of that show with Kate and Hughesy? Because I imagine sometimes being the anchor, you can be almost like the meat and the sandwich.
Well, the beauty for me always has been I'm never a comedian. I think that's the key. You can be humorous in conversation, but the fact that you're not a comic and you're selling tickets, otherwise every comic would hate your guts.
Yeah.
So Hughesy was always he actually said to me once, he said, why are you talking like that? Just talk like you do in the office. Because, of course, I was like, oh, yeah, Nova 100, Hughesy Kate, find one today. Just doing what you thought you had to do.
Yeah. Blame Jamie Angel for that, by the way.
Hello, you, Jamie. And Train. But he goes, how you talk to me in the office and you tell that story in the office, just do that for me. And, he encouraged me to come out of my shell. And, I mean, I would alter him and Kate because they were just, I guess you never realised that you could do that. I always just thought I was this is guy. And then sit back and let the other guys do the thing.
Well, that old school, it's the old school mentality of there's only one way to kind of do it, right? Yeah, there was only that one way up until now. Listen to radio now, it's the best sort of stuff is when it's actually doing the opposite of what you're supposed to do.
100%.
You know what I mean? You're talking, you're talking it's supposed to be, breaks are supposed to be tight and then leave the audience on a high straight to an ad break.
Yeah.
When you kind of leave it awkward, and then give people something they haven't really heard before.
100%.
It's kind of interesting.
And that's why I've never done the radio. I've been lucky in the teams I've worked with. They've been very, very anti prank calls, sketches, song parodies, all that rubbish.
Yeah.
It's here's a Tony Abbott sketch, guys. Take you up to the 8 o'clock news.
Or people doing.
What was your favourite sketch of the year?
Yeah. Or Malcolm Turnbull.
Moonman's Turnbull's a good one.
Oh, mate, I saw him
Moonman.
do it on the.
I miss him on the radio.
The front bar. I saw him on the front bar recently, and they went, we're going to cross now to the former Prime Minister. And he came up as Malcolm Turnbull, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, I've seen this a million times. Fuck, mate. It was one of the funniest 5 minutes. I've showed the boys.
Yeah, it's very funny.
I said, mate, you got to watch this. There's one thing where he gets there and he's talking about, he's doing the elitist thing, and they cross him from the SCG members room, and he goes, I tell you something. He says, I believe that Sydney could sustain another AFL team. And they go, oh, no, there is a GWS, Greater Western Sydney. Oh, Western Sydney. Where do they play at? They go, Homebush. He goes, oh, dear Lord.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, who's your favourite Swan of all time? Oh, well, I love Lance Buddy Franklin and, of course, The Wiz, Warwick Kappa. But if I had to say my favourite Swan of all time, it would be Swan Lake. Jay Josky, he was a giant of a man. Oh, not a GWS giant, of course. Oh, the western suburbs, driving home, squinting in the sun every afternoon. How do they do it?
Oh, that is great. I dream because did Moon take over from you guys on Triple M?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, anyway.
He said it was an interesting couple of years.
God, he was good though.
Oh man, I went and saw there was.
I reckon I know this is controversial because Joel Creasy's one of my good mates and I work with him, but I think Moon is one of the best stand-up that I've ever seen, let alone Australian stand-ups. He's just incredible.
Well, the night I went and saw the comedians, which was Mick was like the ringmaster, and he brought Sam Pang out first of all. Sam was terrific. Then it went Marty, and you go, okay, things are lifting here. Then they brought Lawrence on Laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking hell, it was so fucking.
Imagine how the meeting went about the lineup of that, like who would go first, second, and third.
Oh yeah.
Sam Pang's bloody good too.
Yeah.
He's so good. And I love how he's just edgy enough where he can do like your Logies and those sort of award ceremonies without, offending everyone. Well, but I do like how they like bring in a bit more of that American sort of Ricky Gervais sort of let's just roast.
Well, Sam did one on the front bar and it was like everyone went, oh, they crossed to. Is it Neil Danaher that's struggling with MND, motor neurone disease? I think it was. They crossed to Neil, and he said, and they said, "Oh, Neil, who was your toughest opponent?" And he goes, "Oh, I explained I played against this guy," and Sam went, "Oh, really? I thought it would have been motor neurone disease." That's what he said.
Is that what he said to him?
And he explained it after, and Neil Danaher pissed himself laughing. He said, "It's just a joke we do all the time," but the live studio Warners just went. Oh,
yeah. You wouldn't know how to react.
The best roast I ever heard was the roast of Joan Rivers. And I won't be able to say that obviously, Joan Rivers is so old. Her.
That is fucking brilliant. It is brilliant. It's just a shame sometimes. It's probably those roasts are probably the last bastion of that sort of humour.
It's so weird because America in the media landscape is so conservative. This confuses me about the US. They're so crazily like they do those roasts and they but then there's such a conservative, like you can't say goddamn on the radio.
Yeah, and then they get to these roasts, like the roast of Tom Brady. Like that one was crazy. They hammered him so hard.
Like if they said to you, they said, "Oh, like if you were over there an actor," and they said, "Oh, would you like to be part of one of these roasts?" I'd say, "No fucking no way."
I think it's such good promotion though for him, right?
Well, they did one with Pamela Anderson. I can't remember who said it. It was like, but when you take a bath, they call that they call the leftover water hepatitis soup.
To be fair, they're good sports too.
Oh yeah,
like, they cop it on the chin.
Yeah,
like that Nikki Glazer.
Oh, she's brilliant. She's in the country at the moment.
Yeah, she's doing stand up here at the moment, but she got like her big break on that Tom Brady one.
Yeah.
I love at Tom Brady's one because Kevin Hart was hosting it. Like he'd throw to his comedian.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, thanks, Kevin. You're such a small guy." She says, "He's 5'4" and 150 pounds, 155 after the Rock finishes." Love him.
Brekky Radio, you did that with Michelle and Marty up in Brisbane?
Yes, I did it with Michelle and Ash first, and then Marty joined when Ash left.
Was that Ash and Lutzy?
Yeah,
that part of that team.
Yeah. Oh, I love Lutzy still. Lutzy's still kicking goals up there. He's brilliant. I love Lutzy.
How did you find Brekky Radio? Well, like, how did you find, firstly, was it Brisbane to Melbourne to Brisbane?
Yeah, Melbourne, Brekky Radio, and then I went up to Brisbane to do my own show. So that was like leaving Hughesy and Kate to go up and get my name on the show, which was a pretty big step.
Yep.
But Brisbane, I was like kind of young and didn't have kids, and yeah, it was real burning the candle at both ends stuff. There was one time I had some friends over for a few drinks, and it was got a bit rowdy. And then all of a sudden in the corner, I heard like my alarm go off, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, it's Friday night. And I realized, no, it was Thursday night. And my alarm for Friday morning was going off as the house was pumping. So splashed some cold water on my face, popped off, did the show, and then came back and everyone was still there.
Isn't it fun? Like, there's some of your best shows, isn't it? When you walk in there, there's something in your brain.
You are trying a bit harder.
Yes, it is.
Really
for your job, like because you're actually like talking for your job.
Because you also just have to get through till 9.
Yeah.
That was always the thing. Is like just get through till 9, you'll be fine.
We did it.
But Brizzy was great. I loved that. That was a great station to work for too. And it was a proper radio station. It still is. Like Nova 106.9 up there is just it's a great station.
Mate, that breakfast, I can't tell you how many times I had to get an Uber into work or drive into work, get Trish to drive me into work, and literally go in there completely just blind drunk and breaking every code. But anyway, I'm not there anymore. But we did a show in New York. There was myself, Paigey.
Were you live?
Yeah, we're live in New York.
What for?
Oh,
it was the New York Marathon.
Oh, yeah. Gus did the New York Marathon.
Yeah.
And oh fuck! And firstly, the first night we're there, didn't we, Jack?
Was your only guest Hugh Jackman?
That was it. We relentlessly just turned him over.
Back after this, the boy from Oz returns.
One day we went in there. We were so drunk on air, right? Because our thing, I said, Jack, you got to come over. I said it'd be great. We're on air. I think it was 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock till 4 o'clock. 2 o'clock.
Well, hang on. What, PM?
Yeah, PM.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right.
To line up. So 2 till 5.
Give Brekky guys an afternoon shift. You'll be fine.
Mate, perfect. I said, what we'll do every morning, Jack, we'll get up 9 o'clock. We'll do a bit of sightseeing around the city. Then we'll go and do the show. Fucking mate, every single day they literally got the stick out to drag us out of bed for the 2 o'clock show. And mate, it was but we went in there one day. We were so blind on air that they were down the line to Jamie Angels. Just mate, we're doing complete breaks of just nothing but laughing. And just it was Jamie Angel the only goes, oh, well done, boys, congratulations, it might have cost you careers, that sort of shit. Anyway, we ended up winning a radio award for it.
No way.
I just showed you.
What did you win an award for, though? What was the category?
It was something like best humor.
Best break without a word.
But yeah, exactly. Best heavily intoxicated on air. But Mulray used to say all the time.
Best Hugh Jackman interview.
Best 5 times in a row. But Mulray used to say back in the day, he used to get there. Remember the Woz of the Rock Dog?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Wozzy used to always say, Matty, he said, Mullers used to say, if you're having a good time in the studio, whatever happens in the studio, you're having a good time. If you're laughing, it goes up through the pin and into the cars. And it's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you get there, that's...
Yeah.
I think, that's one of the most crucial things. You've got to enjoy.
Well, you can't fake chemistry either. That's the thing. That's why I just don't understand why radio executives put people together that have never met each other before.
Oh, fuck.
But everyone still goes, oh, but Hamish and Andy were so great, weren't they? Because they were mates.
Yeah.
They're actual friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've said that. I said to Cooper once before. I said, mate, I think in radio, you just got to take your time and get to a point. You don't want to be in too big a rush. And you also want to be in a position, once you're about to move into one of those key slots, that if you're in a good enough position that you can pick your own team.
Yeah.
I can only imagine, Black, is what it's like sometimes, but they just throw you in and say, right, you're with this group.
100%. That happened to most of my career. Like, that's why I think ultimately I got so lucky. Like, I worked hard, but I got very lucky to work with, like, that was the key to not being a comedian or anything. I got to work with the best in the business and got to learn from them all along the way as well. And now hopefully I can kind of pass on a bit of that.
I've never been a big fan, and I know there's a lot of comedians in radio and some of them are good, but I've never been a big fan of like the comedian on radio, because every break it's like rehearsed. Like they actually rehearse the jokes and they come through it and you can sense the fake laughter. People that are naturally kind of
I worked with someone once who used to, in the middle of us talking like this, they'd write a question on a Post-it note and slip it to me, and that's the question I'd have to ask.
Oh, you'd have to ask it to them. Wow.
Yeah, I found it very, very difficult at times.
Just because they had a punchline.
Yeah, they
that's
do.
Right. Trying to get to that conclusion. They're trying to take you there.
Whereas Marty taught me years ago, like, it's 220 shows a year. You'll get your thing across. Like, don't worry. Like, again, that don't rush thing. Like, there's another show. There's always another show. There's a lot of shows.
Yeah, drip feed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marty, because when I listen to Marty on air, although Marty's a comedian, I don't think he would class himself as a stand-up. And he sort of like, he didn't come across as a comedian on air. It was just sort of natural humour that would just.
Oh, he's the funniest person I've ever met / worked with ever. Like,
it's very dry too, right? His humour, like.
Yeah, and also a real craftsman too. Like, really loves the business and really knew the business.
Well, the couple of times we had a stand-up, not going to say who it was, but if one of the boys was sick, he'd come in, or he'd come in for guest slots and things like that. And I found it very, very difficult to work with him because he would start a monologue. And that's what it was. It was a monologue. And he would be trying to basically get to the punchline, which could have been 4 minutes away. Yeah. And you're forced to just sit there and wait.
Yeah, I know.
And you know, and you go to chime in. Oh, well, tell me. Like MG once goes, oh, mate, tell me when you just said that, and he's interrupting the joke.
But then you'll hear them do that exact bit on another radio show that they guest on to them. Like, what, you got your 2 jokes and you just like shitting on all of us and we have to sit through it?
Mate, so all the people you work with, so outside of Joel and Ricky Lee now, who was, like, in your opinion, the best team as far as chemistry is concerned?
Well, outside of where I am now, because I've never been happier and more confident in myself than I am now. With, like, Ricky and I are like best friends, and we kind of hang out all the time, and I think that shows on air. But Marty was just a cut above the rest in terms of, like, it was weird. You were learning from him even though you were enjoying every day, you know? And we'd talk about the show every day before the show too. Like, there wasn't this idea that you just rock up and see what happens. Like, we'd talk about the show and really think about the show. So definitely working with him was, I think, has kind of set me up for where I am now.
Like, listen to like Marty and listen to Kyle. One of the things that draws you to him is that sense of menace and sense of danger.
Yeah,
you know, isn't it? Like,
and also Marty used to teach me things like, you know, you don't want to shit can everybody because you'll run into someone at the airport. But pick like 3 people and just go hard on them. And I remember once going hard on James Magnuson, the swimmer. I'm like, oh, bloody white caviar, give yourself your own nickname when you came second. Good on you, bro. Like, all this stuff. And then, of course, ran into him making his own toasted sandwich at the Qantas Club, and that didn't go down very well.
Did Missile say anything?
He just looked at me like he knew about the white caviar stuff, and we ate our ham, cheese, and tomatoes separately, separate corners of the venue.
Yeah, I often wonder that with, like, some people go really hard at each other, but sometimes you go, oh, like, is it all just a bit of, like, radio fun and that?
Yeah.
But has that happened to, you've worked with a lot that went really hard at different people? Like, Marty used to go very hard at people.
Yeah, but the thing about it, so the difference is because he didn't go out, so I still go out. So I mean, it's very easy. Like, I guess Kyle would be the same, right? It's very easy to start kind of throwing grenades and then not leave your house. And whereas if you do enter the world and run into people, it's a bit more difficult to have that kind of in your repertoire.
Yeah, Jackie always says that. Jackie's like, because she goes out all the time. That's right. And Kyle doesn't. And even sometimes Jackie's not even, like, in the conversation. No. And he just goes on these rants. And then she always runs it. Like, she said she ran into, at the Formula One last year, she ran into Steve Price. And at that time, those two were like, Kyle and Steve Price were just going that hard at each other. And she was like, oh, hi, Steve. And she was like, she come back on air. She goes, he's actually a really lovely guy. Yes. And then Kyle's like, nah, fuck him.
It's like Marty and I used to go hard on Tim Minchin. And then I met him. I'm like, actually, you're a really nice guy. Really nice guy.
Hamish and Andy, we sort of do it a little bit. Used to go hard on them because purely because we're jealous of them.
What did you used to call Fitzy and Whipper on the air?
We had a couple, Ditzy and Witsy, and Lippy the Lion and Hardy Ha Ha. Isn't it funny? The radio teams, particularly breakfast, just hate each other.
I know.
We had one team we used to go really hard on. Then we did an outside broadcast. And there are a number of teams there, and they were one. And one of the guys...
But that wasn't for, like, that weird radio. I did that in Brisbane, where all the breakfast shows broadcast from Queen Street Mall near the Pig and Whistle. And we're like, what's the purpose of this?
We were down at Darling Harbour. It just stunk. It was so shit. Anyway, and freezing cold. Anyway, this guy, he walked over like with a bit of bravado and goes, oh, well, here I am, boys. And, of course, we had Mark Geyer in our team, MG, who's 6'6" and can, like, fight like a machine. He's got a hair-trigger temper. And he walked over and said, well, here, boys, you got anything to say? And MG said, yeah, fuck off, or I'm going to drop you right now. He goes, okay. No problem.
I remember that B.O.B. That was ages ago. Like, that was ridiculous. It was for something I can't remember.
What's the purpose of that?
It was for commercial radio, something. I think at the launch, was it the launch of digital radio?
I think it was. Yeah, it was. And it was like a show of, hey, we're all big one family.
We're all one family.
Sure we are. Yeah. What about guests over the years? Like, you know, people guests and colleagues, people who've come into the studio, and of course you have great experiences. And then with other people, you have just these fucking awful experiences, people who just don't want to be there. And firstly, the real positive ones you've had over the years with guests coming in.
Oh, that's a tough. I don't know. Like, I think, God, Christopher Pine would be my favourite guest that we've ever had.
Yeah,
he's just
the actor.
Yeah,
he's good.
No, the politician.
There's an actor called Chris Pine, though.
Yeah, I reckon there is.
Yeah,
maybe Christopher Pine. Oh God, he was funny. We were talking about. I can't remember what it was. Oh, he used to go hard. He called Kate a bitch. He'd stand in the hallway before he would come on with a glass of a white wine. Like, he was just, God, he was good. I remember this stood out because I felt for him at the time. But Alex Lloyd, the singer, I remember was one of my first interviews, and it was live. And look, I tell you what, I know it wasn't a good question, but it wasn't. So he'd just become a dad, and I'd said to him, Alex, because that's how I spoke. Oh, Alex, would all your songs now just be about changing nappies and sleepless nights? And he literally just picked his headphones up,
just left,
put them on the desk, walked out. That was it. That stuck with me because I find now, especially because like radio, we're filming everything. The guests have never. I used to notice this about TV. Like you never have a bad guest on TV because they've had their makeup done. Yep. They got nice clothes on and they're on camera, so everyone acts polite.
Yes.
But radio they never used to. But now that we're all filming everything, everyone is really up and about, and they know that this is going to go everywhere.
Yeah, because you're one clip away from just being like public enemy number.
And also,
one.
we're a show. One of the great things we've done with our drive show over the years, and all the incarnations, we have one guest a week. That's it. Because we also realised that Brekky would, like I say, if someone was in town, Brekky would have them, Knights would have them, the other drive shows would have them. So why don't we not have them and see how that goes? And that was another thing that Marty really pushed in. It's like, why do we need to have Dr. Chris Brown on talking about Dancing with the Stars? He's been on 58 different shows talking about the same thing. Nothing against Chris Brown, but why don't we just talk about Dancing with the Stars as opposed to have him on?
I used to laugh when Marty used to get there sometimes in that book. You actually accept, maybe once get a guest and he said something like, "Oh God, no, I'm going to have that turd in the studio."
Guests are very overrated. Guests are
because you find, don't you find that you try and make them feel comfortable, so then you change your whole act.
If there's and we always find the best guests that we have on here, it's like people. We always try to just get people who we know are good blokes or good female guests who we all just bounce off each other. Like you're good,
so who
we won't
today?
have you. Well, we won't. Well, Tim, we won't answer. We won't use any of this.
So you haven't hit record yet.
This is just a special.
No, guests do reckon, but I like it now because the show's so successful, and yours will be the same. People really know that coming into our show now means something. So we kind of haven't had any bad experiences lately. I'll tell you some off air, but
yeah. I can imagine over the years we had a couple come in once, and it was horrendous. We had the lead singer of Placebo, who I quite like, but he came in and
musicians don't go well in the morning, do they?
No, they don't. And he came in and he's publicist or manager came in beforehand and said, "Listen, he was a highly unusual guy. He's got a real phobia as far as getting his photo taken." And we're like, "Oh, okay." And of course, he walks in the studio, and one of our producers, Brendan Woody, who just managed to fuck everything up all the time, he comes in not only with a camera, with a long-angle lens camera, and just goes bang, takes a photo of him. And the bloke from Placebo just exploded.
That's a weird phobia.
Screaming.
That's a strange phobia.
Can I tell
spiders photos?
I know. Can I get to him about Jake Bugg?
I love Jake Bugg.
Do you know the singer Jake Bugg?
Yeah, I love him.
Okay. Well, you're gonna love this. So, Dad was obsessed when Jake Bugg first came on the scene, right?
He had like 2 albums, didn't he?
Correct.
Yeah. Disappeared.
Disappeared. I was thinking, where's he gone?
So, Dad thought he was the best thing since sliced bread. Every time he'd get drunk, which was like every second night, so he would get the speaker out. Well, he didn't have a speaker then. You didn't have a UE boom, so he put the cup in. The phone in the cup, and he played Jake Bugg, and he go, "This bloke's going to be the next Liam Gallagher." That was his big thing, next Liam Gallagher. And then on Triple M, Jake Bugg finally came out to Australia to do some media, and Dad goes, "Guess what? We've got Jake Bugg on the show tomorrow. I'm that stoked to get him on. Dad came home that disappointed because Jake Bugg was like blind, wasn't he?
Came in and worse. No, it was worse than that. He wasn't blind. He was just that fucking ridiculously hungover, and he just
give you nothing.
He just give us nothing. In every question I said, he said, Jake, blah 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 blah, and he go, I don't know, man, I'm just fucked.
That happened with me years ago. I had Rihanna in for when Pond to Replay came out, and Rihanna just literally had head and I think she was only 18. She had her head in a hand like this, and she was doing one-word answers like this. And I walked out going, we're never going to see that woman again. And then literally about 12 months ago, I'm sitting in the Piedmont studio at Nova editing some shit and looking at her performing at the Super Bowl. And I'm still in the same room, and she's up there. She did all right.
She's good. She could be something Monday.
A friend of mine who did radio in Newcastle, one of his first ever shifts, he's got John Williamson on. Day True Blue, where you go.
Is it a cockatoo?
And it wasn't me and you.
Is it Mum or Dad? I mean, are they lyrics?
I know, that's right. It doesn't take an icon apart, but you know what? Fuck, what the fuck?
It's a great song.
Watch out, Bert Newton, you're next. Rest in peace, Bert. He got him on, and that weekend he was going to perform live John Williamson at Sir Donald Bradman's funeral, right? Okay. So my mate goes, and on a different note, John, you're performing this week at Sir Donald Bradman's funeral. Wow, what a thrill. Right? There was just silence, and he just went, thrill? The bloke's fucking dead, mate.
Oh, God.
Oh, things you do. Oh. Now, okay, Tim.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to explain this? Are you about to do what I think you're about to do?
Yep. Before we do that, I've got a few notes. This is really made work.
He gets very excited about this segment.
But before we do, are there any notable shows over the years that really stand out for you?
Yeah, we actually, one of the best ideas we had and we were able to do it was we decided to, remember when Roy and HG used to commentate like the grand finals and stuff, but for Triple J?
Yep.
So we wanted to go over and we commentated the royal wedding. That was Harry and Meghan. So it was Saturday and we were broadcasting live around the country, and we just sat in London. We flew to London for it, and we're watching it on the BBC, and we just shit-canned it and talked about it over 3.5 hours. Just commentating the royal wedding. That was that was the most fun I've had on radio. Was sitting there in bloody royal wedding glasses and top hat sitting in London after a couple of pints down at Westminster.
So in hindsight, you probably didn't have to be in London to commentate.
No, you didn't. That was the joke. We got you. that was
so funny.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's good. God, isn't she a god-awful person?
Oh, Meghan Markle. She works hard, though. She's a mum. She's a podcaster. She's making her jams now. I mean, how does she do it?
Incredible. And have you heard her latest one, The Power of Yet?
No, The Power of Yet?
You think about this. So she's talking to a person, and she was talking about, mate, like, firstly, you're right about, like, what she does as a mother. Oh. Honestly, I mean, there's single mothers out there working 3 jobs, but what she does, she goes, I get up in the morning at 6:30, and I make their lunches, and then I get them out and I dress them. I go, wow, this is good.
This is so good.
And then I drive them to school, and I'm thinking, yeah, fucking sure you do. Yeah. And then I get back, and it goes, I do all of that, and it's by that time it's 9:30, and I'm exhausted, and you're going, fucking my God. And then she sits there and she starts to talk about, she's got this new thing. She goes, I tell my children the power of yet.
Oh no.
My book hasn't been picked up yet.
Yeah.
And it just goes on and on. It is probably the most sickening thing I've ever heard.
I love that.
And the other girls just blowing that much smoke up her ass.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Oh,
anyway, I'm more of a goop guy, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The old, what is it, the vagina-smelling candles?
Vagina candles, yeah. And she talked about Ben Affleck teabagging her when they used to go out.
Fantastic.
So that's the power of yet, isn't it?
That is
teabag me yet?
Yeah. I haven't been teabagged by Ben Affleck yet. Okay. Cooper, explain it.
Okay, so this segment, Dad loves it. Lone survivor, right? Okay. So he's going to pick a category, and then 1v1, there's going to be people, and it's like a King of the Ring. You go through until there's only one left, and they're the winner of it.
So this one, I was going to go best radio talent in Australia, but I thought it's not fair because I'm going to start to mention names who you work with in your network, and so I'm going to go radio talent you'd like to be sitting next to on a 24-hour flight.
Okay.
To start with, Alan Jones and John Laws.
John Laws.
Okay.
Had lunch with him.
Did you, Lawsy?
Yeah, I did. I'm not Lawsy, but yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
He drinks his wild turkey and Coke. So he sip of the wild turkey, then a sip of Coke. Doesn't mix them.
Why is that? Is there a purpose, or he just?
I remember when I went to lunch with him. I said, "I'm just going to do everything that you do at this lunch," because I was so obsessed with him. And we went to Otto, and I ordered the same thing, drank the same thing, absolutely blind.
He does every single day. He used to be at Otto, didn't he? Same table. I've got a Lawsy story for after this.
Okay, after this.
Can't share it on there. But.
Okay.
So John Laws or Fitzy? Ditsy?
Oh, Fitzy.
Okay. Fitzy or Jackie O?
Oh, I love Jackie, but Fitzy.
Okay. Fitzy
Not
or
sure if he's
Whipper?
much of a
Bias.
Fitzy or Whipper?
I'll keep Fitzy going.
Fitzy or Hamish Blake?
I'll keep Fitzy going.
Yeah, okay. Fitzy, Andy Lee?
Fitzy.
Yeah, exactly. Is it a funny one? No. Fitzy or Michelle Laurie?
Fitzy.
Fitzy, Sam Pang?
Well, I know Sam, but I don't know. I think he'd be more of a movie guy, and so I'll say Fitzy.
Fitzy, Dave Hughes?
Oh, no, Dave Hughes would be very boring on a flight, so Fitzy.
Okay. Doesn't drink, Dave. Hasn't drunk for how long?
Hasn't drunk since he shut himself in a tree in Warrnambool.
Did he?
In a tree? How
That'll
do you
do it.
I think he was up in a tree. I'll get him on to tell that story.
Yeah, I will.
I mean, he's in his 20s, though. He commits to it.
I love that. Okay. Fitzy or Marty?
Marty.
Oh, Marty or Kate Lembrook?
Oh, Kate Lanebrook.
Kate or Fifi Box?
Kate.
Kate or Merrick Watts?
Kate.
Exactly. Kate or Red Cavalier?
Kate.
Yeah. Kate or Chris Page?
Oh, hang on, where's the flight going? Do I have to work when I get there?
Let's press pause on that for 1 sec. Do you remember, Jack? So we're on our flight to New York, and we're going to stop over at LA. And by the time we reached LA, we had to give Pagey our carry-on to use as crutches because he
hold him up.
He couldn't even walk. So what had happened? He got on the flight and they cut him off. So he crawled up into business class and stole a bottle of champagne.
Oh my god,
Relentless.
classy guy.
What a class act.
It is.
Real champagne.
Yeah. Kate or Mick Malloy?
Mick Malloy.
Mick Malloy or Cole Sandlands?
Mick Malloy.
Mick Malloy. Mick Malloy.
Malloy
is
wins.
champ.
Is he your favourite?
Yeah, he's a good mate too. I love Mick. Again, I've worked with him for a little while. He filled in for Kate Lanebrook when she had one of her 700 kids when I worked with Hughesy and Kate. So, and then Mick used to come up when we were looking for our co-host in Brisbane. It was actually awesome. When Ash left and we were looking for the next co-host, Will Anderson came up and did 2 weeks. Marty came up and did 2 weeks. Mick came up and did 2 weeks. And Mick and I would be at the pub at 9:30 every morning in Brisbane.
It's fucking good, mate.
Yeah, he'd have his legal pad there. He'd write some notes. He'd send off a few texts, and then that was it.
Him and Tony Martin together.
Oh.
That show get this.
I used to be on. When it was Martin Malloy, I used to be a caller. I used to be Tim from Tassie. I used to call up every now and then.
Oh, really?
I think I might be on like a Poop Shoot album or something like that.
That's right. The Poop Shoot, the Brown album.
The Brown album. Yeah, Eat Your Peas.
It'd be very hard to fly commercial with Kyle as well.
He doesn't do that.
He doesn't do it. He doesn't want to fly with scum with all the commercial people. That's what, in his words, he loves flying private, even domestically. Like, why would you waste the money on it?
How did you guys get to Melbourne that time for your dig, your $1 million dig?
Well, I didn't fly. I flew commercially. I don't know how he got there. He might have just got like a
Uber Black.
Yeah, he just Ubered all the way down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks, Timmy.
Blackers, thank you so much for coming in, mate. We really appreciate it, mate.
Time flies.
Thanks for the hat.
Good luck going forward, mate.
Thank you very much.
Good on you, brother.